Retiring at 30 didn't mean that I had it all figured out, but it did give me something that most people never get, a chance to actually look back and ask, what really made the difference along the way? Today, I'll share with you 7 lessons that I learned from retiring early. Some of these lessons I only understood after the fact, others, they're what got me here in the first place. Lesson 1 is that retiring early doesn't mean that you stop working, it means that you stop working out of fear. Real financial freedom is the ability to only work on things that you're actually interested in. I'm building this YouTube channel because I thought it'd be fun, not because I had to. Similarly, I've worked on startups since I retired. I've taken full-time, W-2 jobs because I thought the company seemed amazing. And really retiring for me isn't about whether I work or don't work at all. It's about having that choice. It's about not worrying about getting fired, not feeling like, oh, I hate this job, but I have to just stick it out. This means you show up differently to every negotiation. You come to every negotiation with the leverage to say, hey, I'm perfectly willing to walk away if this doesn't work out the way that I want to. I don't need this. And so for me, it's not about never working. It's about having options. Tip number 2 is that you don't need a perfect plan. You need a strategy that survives real life. You will make mistakes on your journey to financial independence and retiring early. I certainly did. What matters is staying in the game and building up a strategy that is resilient to those mistakes. So I wasn't trying to optimize every dollar. Sometimes I think people get really caught up on what's the very best investment strategy that I can optimize every dollar I make. Is this thing worth saving for? They get really obsessed on optimizing, but I think what's so much more important is creating like a margin of safety. And if you want more tips about how I think about building that margin of safety, you can check out this video about why it might be hard for you to save money. Tip number 3 is that most people are not bad with money. They've just never been given the tools and taught how to use them. If it's your first time hearing about a Roth IRA, figuring out what index fund to put your money into, negotiating your salary, these are all things that can be really difficult the first time you do them. This is of course not a character flaw that you don't know this already. It's just lack of access and exposure to the information. However, money skills are teachable. They're not moral. It's not right or wrong whether or not you know them yet. All that matters is that you're able and willing to keep learning. Tip number 4 is that your career is your biggest lever, especially in your 20s. Raises, switching jobs, leveling up, these are all so much more important than clipping coupons and trying to save your way to success. This is where salary negotiation tips, like the one that I talked about in my last video, really make a huge difference. Optimizing my salary early gave me wins that compounded and created a huge head start. And if you're interested in the salary negotiation tip that made the biggest difference for me, I'll have that video linked down in the description below. Tip number 5 is that gratitude is great, but strategy pays the rent. Again, this is something that I talked about in my last video. Once you start making a certain amount more than what you ever really expected to make, it's easy to just feel like I can't ask for more. Many people who come from a background without money are taught to not make waves, to be happy for what you get, be grateful for the opportunities ahead of you. And this advice, while well-meaning, costs real money. I had to unlearn wanting to be like low maintenance at work and instead really see my own value and be willing to be strategic about how to continue advancing as opposed to just waiting for someone to tell me when the next opportunity is available. I had to really learn to make my own opportunities. Lesson 6 is that the real goal isn't retirement, it's agency. Financial independence is not a finish line, it's a launch pad. Retirement just meant finally choosing what kind of life I wanted to live. But in hindsight, I really wish that I had appreciated that I didn't have to wait until I was fully retired to have that agency. Every time I advanced my career, made one of these strategic decisions, I was building that more and more for myself, and I wish I had stopped to take a little bit more advantage of it along the way. It's so popular now, these things like mini retirements and breaks, and I think that's something that really more people should be taking advantage of, just to realize that, hey, you do have agency along the way. And my last tip is that community beats hustle every time. As I shared in my salary negotiation video, Something that made a huge difference for me was a tip that a coworker shared. I also kind of alluded to later, I found out how much my equity was worth because I was comparing compensation with other coworkers. In most states, this is completely legal to do. So tips from coworkers, shared compensation spreadsheets, DMs from friends, these are all things that make a huge difference in shifting the balance of power. Building this stuff up in isolation is 10 times harder. You will never have as much power and leverage in a negotiation as the company, right? So all you can do is try to close that gap as much as possible. And the only way to do that is through community. You need to be in contact with your coworkers, your friends in the similar field, and really get together and figure out, hey, what are the levers that we can pull to help us all get ahead? And if you're watching this, you already have someone in your corner. That's my whole purpose with creating this channel, is to be able to share these tips with you so you're not working in isolation. So that's it. Those are the lessons that I learned from retiring at 30. Thank you so much for joining me here today. If you like grounded, realistic financial advice, please like this video, subscribe, follow along. Thanks.